Here we are. We started off by taking the monitor out of the mount it's in and put it in the little groove. Seems like it's going to work good enough so we can see the screen, and we'll zoom in on the screen in a few minutes. You see I moved things around a little bit. The computer's up in the middle, and we're going to start off by, the first thing you want to do is to remove all the cables. I've taken all the cables out. You can see that they've been, all the cables that normally run the game, all the USB cables are out. The only thing I've got left in here is a keyboard. There's a little keyboard adapter for the wireless keyboard. So we're going to need that. And we're going to need a thumb drive that's been preloaded with the Clonezilla files. And we're just going to insert that in the top of the computer up there in one of the USB slots that we've made open. Okay, so we're going to turn on the computer, and we're going to get right on the keyboard, because once the computer beeps, you need to push escape on the keyboard. Okay, so when you see the mirror trends, you want to hit escape. That'll take you to the Zotac menu. So the Zotac computer, I didn't find a way of changing the order of what would boot, but I did find an option for an override. So we're going to go over to save and exit, and then we're going to come down to boot override and choose SanDisk. And when I press enter, here we are. We're at the Clonezilla screen. So now we got the Clonezilla screen, we can do everything else we need to do from here. The next step is going to be to go into Clonezilla Live, which is the first choice at the top. Just press enter on your keyboard. You can use all this from the keyboard. The mouse is optional, but for the most part, everything you need to do can be done by a keyboard. And you'll see it'll say things like it failed to find things, and those are no worries because they're looking for devices that you don't have. It's just trying to cover all of its bases. It'll boot. It might take a little while. Okay, first thing I ask you for is what keyboard you're going to use. We're going to say English. And then say don't touch key map. So we're pressing enter on both of those. It'll do its little thing here, setting things up. Okay, so the first option is start Clonezilla. So we're going to try that. And the first option that's left is the default option is using device images, work with disks or partitions using images. So we're going to choose that. And then it's going to say local drives, the hard drives and external hard drives. So now it's telling us that we can insert a new drive and it'll detect the new drive. So we're going to put our thumb drive in. Our thumb drive's already in it. We're going to put our hard drive. We'll show a picture of this in a second. But the My Passport Ultra is what I'm using here. So I'm going to plug that into the, there he is there. I'll plug them into the USB port. I'm going to set them up out of the way behind these cables. You might find a different way of doing this, but I'm going to put it up here where I think he's safe. We'll press enter. And you can see that the second line down there, this line right here, it says SDC is My Passport drive. And it's a 3 terabyte drive. And it says press Control C to get out. So we'll press Control C. And it's going through and it's doing what they call a mount, drive mount. Okay, so now it's asking me, we need to mount a device called the Home Partition Drive Repository. This is where it's going to save the file. So we look for on the list, the third option down is the My Passport drive, which is the one we want to save the image to. And press enter. And then it says, which is the directory that you want to use for the image repository. We don't want to use any other options, so we're going to hit tab and we're going to go down to done and press enter. And that one would confuse me if I didn't know what I was doing, so just kind of avoid that middle option for abort and press enter to continue again. And now I'm going to recommend beginner because even I've been using it on beginner mode forever, and I've been using it forever. So use beginner mode. Save disk is the option at the top there. Save a local disk as an image. And now we get a chance to name it. So we're going to put a little thing in here. I recommend using some form of the date. The date's already in it actually, but my date's wrong on my computer. So I'm going to change that whole thing. 2016 dash 11 dash 22. Kind of a European score, format. And you can put anything you want in here. It's up to you. So this is just so you can know what this is. And we're going to put BOP 2.0. And we can put backup in there just for the fun of it. Okay, so we know the date, and then we know what it is. And trying to leave any spaces, just use dashes between things, and just not use any spaces. Hit the Tab key, it'll take you to OK, press Enter, and that'll get it started on the image name. Now it's asking us which drive are we going to be backing up, and I had changed the disk to a Corsair drive, so that's showing me the Corsair drive. So I'm going to hit Tab and go to OK, press Enter. And then I'm going to tell it to skip checking. It's probably fine. You do that if you had really sketchy hard drives to begin with, but it should be okay. Say OK, and it's asking when to check the saved image. We're going to say yes. It'll take longer, but we're going to do it anyway. And then and not encrypt the image. So we don't want. There's no reason we need to secure this image. Just press Enter on those choices. And this is at the end. What do we want to do? We're going to leave it on choose so we can decide we want to reboot it on our own. And I ask you to press Enter to continue. And next thing you know, it's going to get going. It's going to ask me again, probably, yes, are you sure you want to continue? Now, when you do the restore, this is much more important to know because right now you really can't hurt anything. So there it's going, it's working, and this is happening. So now it's backing up the drive for us, and it's doing the whole drive. It's doing any other. If there's multiple partitions on the drive, it's going to do those as well. And we're going to get a whole image copy of this whole drive. Okay, that's going to run, and we'll see how that goes. And you see, it just finished up, and Clonezilla will then continue to. Oh, it's got another partition to do, so let's check it out. Now we're going to go into the verify mode, and it's going to actually go back and check all those drives and make sure that everything was recorded properly, put on the disk properly. So there'll be another few minutes left for it. It's about 6 minutes for it to finish off. So we'll wait 6 minutes. We'll come back and pick it up from here. Okay. And what should happen now is it's all been checked. It says press Enter to continue. Anyway, options. So what we want to do, we want to power off, reboot, go to a command prompt, and what you want to do is power off. And it's going to power off. We give the option to stop it by hitting Control-C, but we're not going to. Just let it do this little countdown there. That's it. And you can see here that I had put the thumb drive behind the cables up there just to hold it in place while I was doing the backup. And I ran the wire back into the back of it behind the thumb drive. So did we do no harm? Let's try turning it on. See what happens. Here's the test. Will it boot? Did we do damage to it in any way? No, it looks like it's coming up. Everything looks like it's normal. There you are. Up and doing its thing. Okay, so I'm back, and I've got my laptop here. This is my Lenovo laptop. Got this kind of cheap, so it's actually pretty nice, and it works real well for what we're going to do next. So what we're going to do now is we're going to copy that drive over. So we're going to start by taking it apart. I've taken the screws out already, and this back door just slides off, so they tell me. No, I've actually done this before. Okay, so this back door just comes right off like that. And then we have, inside there, you can see the hard drive is sitting right here. This is the existing hard drive. We're not going to do anything to that. We're going to take it out. And then we're going to put the new drive. We've got a brand new drive. It's still in the packaging over here. See, here it is. Turn it upside right. That's this new Blaze drive. It's a 60 gig. It was the smallest one I could find. And it was only 40 bucks at this point in time. So not too bad. So we're going to take that and we're going to put it in here inside the machine. And we're going to restore our Bride Pinbot image back onto it using this laptop. We could do it on the regular machine too, but this is easier. Okay. Okay, so there's the drive actually mounted in it, and it's just pushed in there. We're not actually going to keep it in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the cover back on. So we just put the cover back on, and it'll hold it. It really doesn't need to be held in there. We're not going to be running around with it like a laptop. So the cover's back on, and we can use it. We put the thumb drive in, and we're going to bring up the computer. You can see it comes right up to the Clonezilla screen. Here's the Clonezilla screen. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So that's where we're going to start. So we're going to do the same thing. Press enter. We'll do the same thing where it'll fail to find certain drivers and etc. Okay, so now we're going to choose the English option like we did before. Don't touch the key map, just using the keyboard. You can use a mouse, but I don't. Start Clonezilla. Image work with disks, just like before. And we're going to at this point plug in the drive so I can detect it. Okay. So now we're going to. It says down the bottom of the screen down there. It says that press enter to continue, and then it's finding the passport on the second line down there. And we're going to do Control C. Okay, so I'm going to say the home partition, and it shows it as the passport drive. And it finds, because it's the only image on the disk, it actually shows you. We should zoom in on that. You can see that it actually shows that 2016, the one we made down the machine. So we're going to say OK to that image, press enter. Actually, we're going to move down to done. Tab down. Press enter. And press enter again. Choose beginner again. Choose restore. It recognized there's an image there and gave me the restore option now. And it's going to ask us for the show us the only option is that backup. And it shows us that where we want to put it at, which is the Patriot drive. So we're going to tab down to OK, press enter. And if we're going to check the image beforehand, we can say no because we just checked it before we made it. And then we're going to have to choose the option to reboot at the end. Now it's going to get a little more critical of the questions now, because are you sure we want to continue? It might actually ask us more than once. You guess this again, because what's going to happen now, it knows it's going to overwrite that disk. So that hard drive that's in there is going to get erased. So if there's anything I wanted on it, it's gone at this point. And now it's going to go to it. It's doing is setting up the drive, and now it's starting to do the restores. Now there's multiple partitions, which is like sections on the disk, and there's like a usually like a boot section or emergency section that sometimes the drive manufacturers will put on. So, or Windows will install it as well. So now we're actually at the major portion of the drive, which is the full restore of the drive, and you see it's like 29.9 gig. Space is actually in use is 23 of that. So now it's going to just go on and install, and we'll come back when it's done. Okay, so we're at the end. It got done, the restore, and it took us to this screen full of text, and at the bottom of it says press enter to continue. And then it has an option like we had before, which was to shut down or power off. Actually enter, and it's going to power off in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No! And that's it. That's all there is to it. So here we are. We are ready to take out the drive, and it, you know, they snap right in. Kind of, they're easy to get in and out. There's just this kind of snap, pull it back, and just pull it back. And you just take it right out, and there it is. So now we'll put this back into the Bride Pinbot's computer and see how it works. Okay, so we're back at the game again, and what I'm going to do is take this computer and I'm going to pull it out of the mount it's on, and I'm going to replace the drive in it with the one we rebuilt. So this will be a brand new drive going into it, and we'll just do that right now. So here's the drive, and I'll take the screws out the back of it, and the back just comes off, and you can see inside that there's the drive. It's inside right in the back. It's easy to get to. Okay, I've taken the two screws out right here, and I'm just going to pull this up a little bit and just pull the whole drive straight back out, and that just comes right out. Then they take this mount that's on here, and we're going to remount the other drive onto this mount and just push it back in, and we'll be ready to go. And there you can see we have our drive installed, and it's all ready to be put back together again, back into the machine. So we'll see what happens when we fire it up. And I'm really doing this live, so if this screws up, you'll see it screw up. What I've done is I've taken the monitor and I moved it out just for right now because I want to set the time and date on the clock. Never did that. For some reason it's always been showing the wrong dates up on the internet for all my scores. Okay, so we're going to turn it on right now. This is really the first time I've turned it on. I haven't tested it. If I did anything wrong, the copy didn't work, whatever, you're going to see it. And I'll probably edit it out, but it's cool. Let's try it out. Looks good. All the lights came on the playfield and all. It's starting to do the loading thing it does. And it's giving me a message that it has to restart something to apply changes. Okay, we'll hook up a mouse and we'll do the restart. But there you go. It booted right up on the new drive. And just click on that little thing and let it restart. But that's it. And there we go. We are fully loaded and ready to roll. I don't have good high scores in this game because it's got it's really hard. It's set up really hard. It's just really fast playfield. But there you go.
Super skill shot.